Hi, this is Ty Crowder with Sherwin-Williams Finishing Systems North America. We're here today starting up a Lineal exterior siding line and the exterior panel painting line with Cura. Let's give a review of the system. Here's the Lineal sprayer. We'll take up the 12-inch wide parts. We have 3 pumps. One's a flush pump, 2 different circuits for color 1, color 2, so we can make color changes on the fly using this valve here. There are gun controls. We'll go through all of this separately. The Lineal spray machine has 3 adjustable automatic gun heads, so we can accommodate any length. Parts will continue traveling down, hit this cross transfer, continue into the cure oven, where we'll have a flash zone, 2 oven zones, and a cool down zone, and then be completely dry as it comes out and stacked. When we use the panel line, we can load a 4x8 sheet onto this table. It comes through this gang spray of guns. They'll all actuate. We'll get the 2 edges and the top edge. Overspray paint will collect in the tray, run via gravity, and give us a reclaim into that bucket there. Panel then continues, comes over to this downstack conveyor, or drop roll conveyor, and drops onto the same cross transfer and continues through the same oven. We only run one system at a time, either lineal or flat. All right, we're going to start up the panel sprayer as though it were a Monday morning. So the panel sprayer would have been left in water over the weekend. This is all water-based BP siding plus Sherwin-Williams paint. We'll put our suction rod into the bucket. You want a drill mix in this instance because they don't have an air-powered agitator, but you want to make sure that the paint is thoroughly agitated. We're going to turn on our air to the pump here. Make sure that our pump has air. It goes out through all those guns and comes back in a return line here. So to load the system, I simply open this valve. Until paint. Now that I have paint present, I'll insert it back into its own container for a few seconds. We're now ready to spray. I need to make fluid pressure adjustments. I do it here on the fluid pressure regulator. And this will control all gun pressure on the system. To start the controls on the system, you're going to turn the power on. Simply press the start button. The screen will go through a boot up. We're going to press line layout. This switch right here enables us to toggle between the Lineal spray machine, LSP12, or the FC1000 flat panel spray. We're going to do the flat panel spray. Bring up the next piece of equipment by touching it. Simply press start. You can now see our fan will turn on, conveyors will turn on. Press close. We can now go to the oven. We can turn on our cooling fans. Oven zone 1, oven zone 2. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to turn the oven zones off, just so that we can hear better. Okay, so we're now going to trigger the system until we have paint and all done. I now see paint coming out. We would adjust all of the atomizing air using the regulator as a regulator for each gun on top. So there's no tail. We want to use the least amount of atomizing air as possible and the least amount of fluid pressure to optimize transfer efficiency. Check that you have a good clean bucket here and that this valve is open for reclaim. We're now going to load a 4x10 panel onto the belt. Make sure it's centered is still on the white part of the belt. cross transfer belt. The cross transfer is moving at 1.2 feet per minute. So if you have a 4-foot wide part, you're going to need about 2 to 3 minutes between each panel so that it can go through that. That's in the design of this because this was an adder for this customer to run panels as a somewhat limited scope of work. They do primarily lineal siding. We're now going to load a 4x10 panel onto the belt. Make sure it's centered just on the white part of the belt. Drop roll conveyor actuate and drop the panel onto the cross transfer belt. The cross transfer is moving at 1.2 feet per minute. So if you have a 4-foot wide part, you're going to need about 2 to 3 minutes between each panel so that it can go through that. That's in the design of this because this was an adder for this customer to run panels as a somewhat limited scope of work. They do primarily lineal siding. Drop roll. And now starts transitioning. Now we're going to take a look inside of the oven. So every one of these panels just lifts off in place. These are insulated. You can see the panel that we just last sprayed coming through. This first zone is a flash off zone. I have the fans off for the purpose of the video so that you can hear me. And then it will be going into oven zone 1, oven zone 2, which we'll take a look at in a minute. There again, I have that off for the purposes of the video. Panel under it now. This is a convection oven using a gas-fired burner, top mounted on top of the oven structure. We're now coming out of the oven into our cooling zone. In the oven, the board reaches the board surface temperature of about 140 degrees. After that, we need about 10 minutes to cool the board back down to less than 90 degrees so that we can stack it right out of the oven. Again, the fans are off for the purposes of the video. now coming out of the oven after the cool down section, and then simply you would down stack it and wait for the next one. All right, so now at the end of the day or during a color change, here's how we would clean up. There's an option where we could put a valve like you've seen in a lot of my past videos. In this case, we just have a single suction rod. Unique feature is you can let the Kremlin pumps just suck air. Turn the pump down a bit. Open this valve. We can reclaim all of the paint that's in the circuit. We now have a slug of air between the two, so we'll know when we've got all the paint reclaimed before water. There's our air coming through. We'll now kill it. I'll put this into a dump bucket, and we'll flush until we just have water through. If we're doing a white to white color change, that's probably sufficient. An end of the day cleanup. If it's a weekend, you're going to want to do a couple of flushes like that until you have good, clean, clear water coming out. End of the day, you would also then turn off the main air valve to the pump, remove every tip and air cap, and submerge them in a water or a solvent. Alright, we'll now show you how the Lineal spray system works. We have this valve here, which selects pump 1, pump 2, or our hard plumbed water flush pump. This enables gun 1, gun 2, gun 3. This is for manual on or off for gun testing. This sets our timer delay from when the whisker switch is depressed for the start and stop times. This is not used on this currently, and this is our atomizing air pressure. So I'm going to select pump 1. Come back around here. Over here we have our powder coated pump stand and 3 pumps. The first pump labeled flush, that's hard plumbed city water coming into it. And on that valve I just showed you over there, when we actuate flush, we're able to have high pressure water come through to clean the entire system. Pump 2, or color 2, is a circuit. Pump 1, or color 1, is another circuit, also actuated by that valve we just reviewed on the other side of the machine. To load the system, we can simply take our 5-gallon suction rod. Make sure that you have a rock screen on it, very important with this type of material, because if you have any skinning and you don't have the agitator on, you can set the skin into the system. Just like the other system, the fluid goes out through all 3 guns and returns here through this line. I simply turn on my pump, set my pressure, open this valve until paint is present. Put it in and I'll let that circulate through it. This is a 20-to-1 pump. So we're going to set this that we're running at about 300 to 400 psi, which would mean that we set it at about 20 psi. Okay? So you want to set the fence when you're starting with the new profile first, and simply loosen these screws and slide this forward or back. You want the center of your part to meet up with the center of that pinch wheel. You also want to lower the pinches so it makes contact with the part. And then tighten. To set the guns, loosen all the T-handles, align the gun where you want it, and then tighten each of the three. Always easier to start with everything loose, adjust the gun and hold it where you want, and then tighten. Put your air caps and tips on, trigger the air, make sure everything's good to go before you start spraying. We'll now go over to the control panel. We'll hit the toggle switch and activate the Lineal spray system. Close. Hit our toggle switch. The LPS 12 is now active. We can go to it. And we hit start. It's now going to spool up the exhaust, turn on the conveyors, and we're now ready to start spraying Lineal. Before we start to spray, we still need to get rid of the last bit of water that is in the gun. You simply hit the manual on. So we see we have speed, we adjust our atomizer there accordingly. Get rid of all the tails. It's happening at about 10 psi in this case. And we've got about 300 pounds of fluid pressure. Shut our spray cabinet, put that back into the automatic mode. Let's paint some boards. Alright, we're now load the board. Pass that photo eye. We'll drop. Take the cross train. Here comes another one. This is to show you the little overspray there is. I'll open the cabinet. Run a few of them right in a row. About 11,500 lineal feet per shift, and then miscellaneous panels as needed. Okay, to actuate a color change, all you need to do is turn the valve to flush, come over to the pumps, open our drain rod. So we're going to put some water. We have water now at that point. I can then go back to that valve, select pump 2, put this suction rod in my other color, and load it like we did previous. If it's at the end of the day, I want to clean up the pump or do a color change through the pump. Put the circuit in water. We'll go back over, we'll change to the pump that we're cleaning. Color 1. Open our drain rod. pretty good clean water coming out. At this point, you go through, clean up the filters, relieve the pressure on the pump, open the filter, clean it. Ultrasonics are a good idea. Clean your rock guards, clean your suction rods. Again, take off your air caps and tips, submerge them in solvent overnight. You'll never let tips dry up. Thank you for selecting Sherwin-Williams Finishing Systems North America.